Hello, very good morning students. Here Sonu sir with a new video, class 7th, SST History India, our chapter 5, Mughal Empire and its prominent rulers. Students, today we are on the conclusion, on the end of this chapter, on the last of this chapter, and this is very important chapter in history, you see, and we have been discussed about all Mughal rulers starting from Babur and ending to, if we talk about prominent rulers, so ending to Aurangzeb. Otherwise, if we talk about the last ruler of Mughal, so we can have to say that it was up to 1857, because when Bahadur Shah Zafar was captured by British in first battle of freedom in 1857. So till then, Bahadur Shah Zafar II was also a Mughal ruler, which was started from 1526. So you can count 1526 and in 1857, if we see, finally it declined, started by Babur and Bahadur Shah Zafar, the last ruler of Mughal Empire. But if we talk about the zenith time and prosperous time of Mughal rule, so we have to mention time up to Aurangzeb's death, which was in 1707. After the death of Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire's declining starting has there, and if we see, we have been discussed about their ability, their rules, what they did best and bad. We discussed about Babur, who ruled only 4 years. Then we discussed about his son Humayun. Okay, he ruled 2 times in India. Firstly, he ruled for some years, but he had to go, in different countries like Iran and Persia after the attack of Sher Shah Suri, who was the ruler of Sur dynasty, and Sher Shah Suri also ruled 15 years on the share of our country. And students, then after Humayun came back and started reign, 1 year he ruled, and after that his son Akbar ascended on the throne. Akbar was a good ruler. In the rule of him, corruption, if you see in Hindi, that means Bhrashtachar. So in the rule of Akbar, corruption was not so more. He was a honest ruler, and he had mentioned some revenue system, some tax collection system, which was not so doing exploitation compared than other rulers of Mughal era. If we talk about Aurangzeb was cruel ruler of Mughals, and he reintroduced jizya, which was abandoned by Akbar. So Akbar did another marvelous job and good job for his countrymen. He did, firstly, he abandoned jizya. He abandoned means stop. So he stopped the jizya tax, which was paid by non-Muslim, that means Hindu. If Hindus were going for their pilgrimage, they had to pay taxes. Those taxes was known as jizya taxes, and that taxes was from the time of slave dynasty, that means from the time of Qutbuddin Aibak. But Akbar abandoned that jizya tax, that is why he was a great ruler. But Aurangzeb reintroduced jizya in his reign, that mentions that he was a cruel ruler. And at the same time, some policies, if we talk about religious policies of Mughals, so in them Babur and Jahangir, son and father, these 2 characters had been a different role. We can say they were good as their countrymen were good in condition at the rule of them, and revenue and religious policy was also policy of tolerance. That means they respected and they gave respect to all religions. I am talking about Akbar and Jahangir. So Jahangir was son of Akbar. So they both gave religious respect to all religions, and they endorsed or promoted all religions and gave permission for practices. For example, if we see this, we have to see two monuments or buildings made by Akbar, which was Diwan-e-Aam and Diwan-e-Khas. So as you remember, Diwan-e-Aam was for all type of people of all religion, caste and creed, and from anywhere. So this was Akbar's tolerance policy. Akbar was a literate and having freedom thoughts of religions, and had been took care of his or taken care of his empire as same eye for all. And you will be get to know that in the reign of Akbar, in the rule of Akbar, he has abandoned the cow killing also. If someone is killing cow and heredity of cows, so it was high punishment of death also there was there. So it was totally from Akbar. So Akbar was religious. Akbar had a religious tolerance, like his son also was good for peasants and farmers and all people in the rule of them. But after Jahangir, his son Shah Jahan was also cruel. Khurram Prince, as you remember, Khurram Prince was also cruel. But he had made some buildings, some monuments like Taj Mahal, Jama Masjid, Moti Masjid, and some some monuments were in historical events, and they are till now having economical and social and at the same time power of our country. So he is remembered like that. He was his age is known as golden age of architecture of Mughals, as we have been read these things. So students, this all was about Mughals. Now we are on conclusion, and our last topic is their revenue administration. Students, in your course book page number 61 and your topic revenue administration. Now I am reading from course. The Mughal land revenue was calculated annually. 1/3 of the average produce was the state share, Dahsala. So 1/3 of state share, it was taken by Mughals. So Mughals were not as bad as British, because British in Mahalwari and Rotwari system you have been learned that they have been taken 1/2 part, but Mughals took 1/3 part of total produce of the crops. So that system was known as the Dahsala system. Students, you have to understand the Dahsala system, that 1/3 part of production of crops in farm, in agriculture, and any type of production. So tax was 1/3 of all income. You can say like that also. Tax was and revenue was 1/3 part and 1/3 division of income. So 1/3 of all income was revenue, tax. The Mughal revenue was calculated annually. 1/3 of the average produce was the state share, the Dahsala system, and the peasants paid on the basis of local produce and local prices. So this produce and prices were localized and has been fixed, that what the price would be of particular crops. And in the Japsi system, the peasants were given remission in revenue if crops failed due to natural calamities such as droughts and floods. This is another good thing if we compare. Students, total in our country, we study history from today's time up to Mughals era. So 500 years rules of Mughals, 300 years rules of somehow British and European, and before that it was total Hindu rule. So after this 800 year, we are now again forming this ideology, but this 800 years, if we talk about two rule on us, first rule was of Mughals and second was of British. So both were, if we see comparison, Mughals were not as bad as British, but if we see only some rulers like Akbar, Jahangir, and some rulers of some sultans also like Firoz Shah Tughlaq and so on. So some rulers were like that, which had some religious tolerance and same thinkings about all, but some were not as well as they. So students, so what was Japti system? In Japti system, if there is floods, as you know, floods, if you see in Hindi, floods means baad, and if there is droughts, if you see in Hindi, droughts means sukha. Okay? So if there is flood or droughts, if there is heavy rainfall or less rainfall, so there was impact on crops. If there is production of less crops is there due to heavy rainfall or due to less rainfall, or floods and droughts. So in that situation, there was a Japti system, that means peasants were given a remission. What is remission, students? It was some kind of concession in that they can pay their taxes in next year or in next crops. So this was some kind of concession, and if you see, this system was introduced by Raja Todarmal, the revenue minister of Akbar. This name is very important name, Raja Todarmal. Raja Todarmal was revenue minister of Akbar. So he had made some things which are till now in conducting and working, and we see which was also referred as Todarmal's Bandobast. This revenue system maintained by Todarmal was known as Todarmal Bandobast. Batai or Galla Bakshi was another revenue system in which the peasants and state had equal share in the produce. And there was another system we had discussed about, the Asala system, which was 1/3 part of income of produce or crop, and there was Batai system, Batai or Galla Bakshi. This both system was on the rule of 1/2, that means half part of crops. So Batai or Galla Bakshi was another revenue system in which the peasants and state had equal share in the produce, that means half share of state and half share of farmer. That means Batai or Galla Bakshi. And Nasak was a system in which rough calculation of the amount to be paid by the peasants was done on the basis of what he was paying in the past. And this calculation was written on Nasak, N-A-S-A-K. So this Nasak was a written document, rough written document of the account of peasants and in between states, and it was totally on the basis of past giving and taking. So students, our next topic, rebellions by peasants. So this was revenue system. Then just we are comparing from British, that is why Mughals were not as cruel as British, but if we compare as Hindu rulers before Mughals, so Mughals were so cruel compared than Hindus. Hindus were not as cruel as Mughals. Mughals taken more part of our income, and that is why some rebellions by peasants were there, Peasants means farmer students. Peasants rebelled. Peasants revolts. Peasants. What is revolts? If you see in Hindi, that means Virod. That means Virod, Andolan. So some kinds of oppose was there, and they opposed the system of Mughals, revenue system of Mughals, the Hasala, and these Japti system was good there, but this Batai and Ganga Bakshi. So peasants who were financially affected by the revenue system during the reign of Aurangzeb revolted. So in that old rulers, Aurangzeb was most cruel. He, increased the taxes. He increased the revenue for all. So that is why he was most cruel. And in his reign, revolts were there morely. If we see the first revolt against Aurangzeb, it was the revolt of Jats, a peasants and a warrior group revolted in 1669 under the leadership of Gokula. In the leadership of Gokula, Jats revolted against Aurangzeb against all this revenue system. And however, this revolt was crushed by Aurangzeb. But Aurangzeb crushed that revolt, that stopped that revolt somehow. And economic and social conditions, if we talk about our next topic, what was the economic and social conditions of the Mughals? In the villages, land was surveyed by the officials with the help of Patwari, and the cultivated land was divided into 4 times. So the system of villages was handled like that. It were some officials who were handling the villages with the assistance, with the help of Patwari, and those Patwaris were helping in farming. So there were 2 types of cultivation, division of cultivation or farms. First was polage. What was polage? Land that remained under cultivation every year. So what is polage? Polage means every year, if there is running cultivation, that means every year some crops are grown there. So that is polage. So continue cultivation of a particular land is polage. And what is second? Parti, follow. That means land that remain uncultivated. And polage means that remain cultivated. And what is parti? That means land remain uncultivated. Grown of any crops. Now we see Chachar. What is Chachar? Follow land for 3 years. If this parti is for 3 years, if this parti or follow land for 3 years, that means Chachar. And what is Banjar? Follow land for more than 5 years. If a land, become follow or parti for 5 years, it becomes Banjar. So these 3, parti, Chachar and Banjar is part of parti. Parti is first stage for 1 year, Chachar is second stage for 3 years, and Banjar is third stage for 5 years. And what is polage? Means a land which is cultivating continuously or in continuous process. Now we see the society during the Mughal period was largely feudal in nature, and the king was the head of the social system. What is feudal? This feudal and federal, these words have same meanings as we see. That means there were 2 governments, central and state. Central government was head, and states were hand in central governments, and assistance of state governments was there, and the decisions of central government was there, and this system is known as feudal and federal system. And in that, king was the head of this system, and social customs such as sati and child marriage were practiced. But in Mughal rules, some social systems like child marriage or sati of Hindus was in practice, and festivals such as Basant Panchami, Holi, Eid-ul-Juha, Eid-ul-Fitr and Muharram were celebrated. So all festivals of Muslims and Hindus were in celebration, and the women had an inferior position in the society during the Mughal period. And this is very important thing, students. In Mughal period, women had a poor condition, very poor condition. They had to live in Parda until now. But that time situation was very cruel, and has to think about that. And The women had inferior position in society during the Mughal period. Social evils such as Parda system, Devdasi system and polygamy were prevalent. So in Hindus and Muslims both, the position of women was not good, but in Mughals it was more bad. Okay students, so we have finished our chapter. In next video we will meet with another chapter. In homework you have to write a summary on this chapter, and if there is any question you can ask on my number. Okay students, till then have a nice day. Thank you.